Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237, and sadly I will not be doing a Bobber review for this video, but instead more catch up on the last decade of horror, and this is a film from 2018, and I'd have to say it's one of the worst of this last decade, and that is The Nun. I did not enjoy this movie at all. It It is, the darkest chapter in the Conjuring universe. Yeah, it is part of the Conjuring franchise. It's a spin-off like Annabelle because The Nun was, I'm guessing it was the main story of Conjuring 2. I saw Conjuring 2 when it first came out. I don't remember a thing about it. I know, I sound like shit again. And here's the thing. First of all, these supernatural paranormal, spooky ghost movies, especially the last decade and a half, I can't fucking stand them. I think they're overrated, terrible, very hokey. I can't get into them. They plagued the genre for the last decade. That said, I love Insidious. I loved the first Conjuring. I enjoyed the second Conjuring. But those are all directed by James Wan. I didn't like Insidious 2, and I didn't see the other ones, but... So even though I enjoy the first two Conjurings, love the first one, the spin-offs and related to the Conjuring films, I can't fucking stand. I hated the first Annabelle. I saw it when it first came out. I'm not rushing back out to see it again to review it. I didn't see The Nun until last weekend, and lately I've said I've been really tired and falling asleep to good movies because I'm tired. This was actually boring me. This was one I had to keep hitting play, waking up to the main menu, because it was boring. And this movie, it was made for $22 million, and it grossed $356. Fucking wow. So it was a huge hit for Warner Brothers. I'm hoping, just because it's Conjuring related, I'm hoping that if that was gone and it was just The Nun, this movie would not have been a success. But Max Avery from ComingSoon.net, The Nun might be the scariest Conjuring yet. To each their own, man. The first film is miles better. And this one isn't even really being sold as, like, based on a true story. Even on fucking, a Wikipedia, there's nothing about... I thought I read something about how it's loosely inspired by some case in the 1950s, because this takes place in 52. But I'm not seeing anything about it being based on or loosely inspired by a true story. It's a good thing too, and it's one of the things that I can't get into with these fucking movies. I know with movies you have to have willing suspension of disbelief. I get that. Hell, one of my favorite series of all time is Planet of the Apes. All of them, except the Tim Burton movie. Yeah, you gotta kinda let reality go a bit. Or, Lovecraft films. You gotta set reality aside. But these ones, especially ones that say based on a true story or found footage that has the illusion that it's real, there's just such ridiculous shit in this. Well, this isn't found footage, but including all of them, that it is just so outlandish in left field that I'm just like, okay, I'm out. Example, like the ending of Grave Encounters 2. I hate both Grave Encounters, but the ending of the second one, a door in the middle of a room that you can literally walk around, jump up and high five over. It's in the basement, but when you open the door, it's outside. Okay. So this one, we have... There was a couple things I liked in this that I thought worked, but it was just surrounded by such stupid shit. And yeah, this movie got praised for its performances and its atmosphere, which, who returned? That's who that was? I didn't even recognize him. What? Okay, well, the lead guy in it, the priest, you probably can't see that, is, I'm probably gonna butcher his name, Damian Bashir. Senor Bob from The Hateful Eight, which is a movie that I love dearly. Did not realize that was him. But okay. Thaisa, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce her name. Farmiga, I know that's Vera's daughter. And Bonnie Aarons reprises her role as the evil demon nun from Conjuring 2. An incarnation of Valak from Conjuring 2. Okay. But it was criticized for its weak narrative and its heavy reliance on jump scares, which is another reason why movies like this and similar to it, I don't like. Because jump scares, one, they're not scares. They're startling. Long periods of silence, loud noise, it startles you. It doesn't scare you, and it's cheap. Hell, even The Conjuring, when it had jump scares, it felt earned because at least the rest of the movie was scary. And yeah, there's a special feature on here, a new horror icon. Because the nun is fucking everywhere. There's Pop Funkos, there's toys, there's just things of the nun. I guess it's getting a sequel. I get people like it, people like the character nun, but I have a hard time buying that she's a horror icon. Especially if this is her main movie, because I did not like this movie. Almost 9 minutes in, I haven't even really got to the film itself. But it takes place in Romania in 1952. These nuns at a monastery are attacked by an unseen force. They go into this tunnel to find this relic. One nun is killed. The surviving one flees. And then, of course, we see the demon nun. Well, okay, I guess I saw this last week, so bear with me. I'm reading its synopsis and trying to remember at the same time. Kind of cheating. I don't normally like to do this. I didn't want to watch it again. I'm guessing she was possessed by the nun, and that's what makes her hang herself. And her body's discovered by this guy, Frenchie, who's a villager. And then the Vatican finds out, so that's where they get Father Burke. who's, you know, Senior Bob. He goes to get Sister Irene, who's a novitiate, I guess is how you pronounce it. A nun in training. She hasn't taken her vows yet. He goes with her. Well, when he goes to meet her, she's teaching the kids about, because she teaches at this Catholic school, and trying to teach them about religion and science, because they're talking about the dinosaurs. And I'm actually not even going to go there because I don't want to say shit that's going to get me in trouble. But she does kind of say something that pisses off another nun, because it does sort of lean more towards science. But they get together. He brings her to Frenchie's place. They're like, can you take us to where you found her body? And they go, and pretty much it's like The Conjuring or any other movie of this ilk, where, you know, they're pretty much just in the area trying to solve what happened. And it's just jump scares and stupid shit. I think they go in, because there's this church or whatever, they go to look at her body, they take a key, they have to come back the next day. Frenchie's attacked, don't really remember what happens to him. But outside, well, I think they go back, then they start staying there. And there's a cemetery outside that still has its bells, because way back when, people feared being buried alive, and sometimes it did happen. So they would have these inconduit holes all the way down to the coffin with a string. So if you woke up, you would pull the string and ring a bell, and someone would hear it and come and help you. Which, being buried alive is one of my fears. So it's like, when I see it in a movie, it's like, that's kind of what gets me invested. I just imagine some asshole back then just walking by with scissors, cutting all the strings. Don't know why. And, like, there was something that worked, but it was preceded by something really stupid. Because Father Burke is out there, and he's, like, attacked by something. Well, he sees that this grave is dug up, and it, like, picks him up and, like, pushes him back all the way down into the casket. It shuts, and then it's like the camera goes in to look at him, and when it comes out, it's all, like, filled in, like it filled in itself. I could be mistaken. It doesn't look like dirt. It looks like grass, like nothing ever happened. So it shows him down in his coffin, buried alive, and I'm like, okay, this is creepy, at least for me. And you get to see that kind of works. So I was like, okay, this is creepy. This works. Because Sister Irene kind of has this sense or hears that something's wrong. So she's walking around the cemetery. He's jerking on the rope to get the bell to ring. And she hears it, and that's when she knows he's in here somewhere. But then all the bells start ringing. Almost as if to fuck with her in a way. And I'm like, okay, that works. He's ringing the bell to get free. She's trying to find him, but now they're all ringing. It's like, okay. And then you get this bit that's kind of like Lucio Fulci's City of the Living Dead. She's digging him up. She's hitting the lid with the shovel. The shovel goes through, and it like almost hits him in the face. So it's like, okay, that's kind of like the City of Living Dead. They go down to the Abbey. Um, these nuns are constantly praying, even praying in shifts, to keep this presence away. And then we sort of get the backstory from this one sister. Like the history of the Abbey. Like in the Middle Ages, there's a castle and a duke obsessed with the occult. The duke summoned this demon through a rift in the catacombs. And he was killed by Christian knights who sealed the rift with the vial that had the blood of Christ in it. And then bombings during World War II accidentally reopened the rift, unleashing evil out into the open. And Father Burke is out reading a book in the next room, and he discovers it's a Valak, which I guess is a real demon. Irene's attacked, joins his desperate prayer to ward off the demon. But you find out none of them were real. They were all in her head. And the one that hanged herself was actually the last actual nun. And she sacrificed herself to stop this Valak from possessing her body. So now they have to seal the rift. But they have to get the vial of the blood of Christ. But of course, the nun that hanged herself has it. Which, so if she had it, why did she? And again, I barely remember the film because I was like nodding off, falling asleep, and I'm just breeze reading through Wikipedia. So if I'm getting anything wrong, feel free to tell me. Just don't treat me like an idiot. I found it very hard to get into this film because, like Annabelle, like Ouija, like even found footage ones, Paranormal Activity, Grave Encounters, it's the epitome of the kind of horror that I'm just not into. I actually liked The Gallows more than this. And if you go to my review of The Gallows, that was a silly rant because I thought the movie was fucking silly. Irene gets lured into a pentagram because that makes sense. Frenchie helps out. He smears some of the blood of Christ on her face, which gets the demon out of her. Daniel, who the hell is Daniel? That was someone I missed. I'm sorry that this review is terrible, but I meant to do this last weekend and I fucked up. I didn't have time, so bear with me. Apparently, Frenchie, because Irene has to be resuscitated. Because the Valak demon tries to drown Irene. And then the rift is sealed and Frenchie resuscitates her, reveals his real name is Maurice. And then we find out that he's been possessed by Valak because he has an inverted cross on his neck. Which, was it this movie? Or was it... This is how little I remember of it. I remember a scene where a woman had No, it was... What the fuck was it? Had crosses cut into her wrists. But they're like, no, see, they're crosses. She can't be possessed. He's like, no, to you, they're crosses. To her, they're upside down. Was it the... It was the one with the mom. No, it was... Oh, that was a totally different movie. What one was that? That was one I watched on Netflix. That movie wasn't very good either. But anyway. Then 19 years later, we see Ed and Lorraine Warren present their footage of a possessed Maurice, who I'm guessing Maurice was in Conjuring 2. I don't remember much of Conjuring 2. It came out back when I was drinking. So I would like to see it again because I do remember liking it. And yeah, it hints at another Conjuring film. Maurice grabs Lorraine, gives her visions of Ed dying, which initiates the Warren's investigation of the Perrin farmhouse, which was Conjuring 2. Yeah, this movie was kind of all over the place. It had really, stretch kind of like suspension of disbelief. You really had to suspend it very far. This is the epitome of horror that I don't like. I don't understand the $350 million gross. I think it's because it's related to The Conjuring and people like Conjuring 2 and they wanted to see it. But a horror icon, I don't get the praise this movie has been getting, even though it has got criticism as well. I did not like this movie at all. I don't like movies of its kind. Just these kind of paranormal, supernatural movies I'm fucking sick of. I did not like The Nun at all. But I hope you enjoyed this rant.